Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating and honestly deeply concerning chain reaction that is literally rewriting the rules of the 2026 global food market. We're going to trace the systemic causality behind the intense market volatility we're seeing right now, following the shocks all the way from distant geopolitical choke points directly to your dinner table.
But to really grasp the gravity of all this data, we have to look at the human scale first. Picture a farmer sitting at their kitchen table, staring at skyrocketing bills for fertilizer and diesel, just agonizing over whether they can even afford to plant their wheat fields this season. And then, look at the other end of that exact same supply chain, a consumer in a low-income nation staring at a bakery shelf, realizing a sudden, devastating price hike means their daily wages can no longer cover a basic staple like bread. It all boils down to this. As input costs soar, does the farmer risk planting, or does the consumer simply eat less?
Okay, let's dive into this. We'll start with the first falling domino, trace the energy and input squeeze, navigate the maritime shipping crisis, and then review the global production squeeze. Finally, we'll examine the food security threat and end on a proactive note by looking at building resilience.
Section 1. The first falling domino.
So, our sources show an unprecedented convergence of both geographic and weather-related crises. Right now, we have severe geopolitical tensions choking off shipping in the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, and at the exact same time, escalating conflicts down in the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea are disrupting absolutely vital energy and fertilizer lanes. And as if that wasn't enough, Mother Nature has thrown us a massive curveball. We're talking extreme heat waves baking the European Union and the UK, alongside severe dryness driving down crop estimates over in the United States. It's essentially a perfect storm, creating a massive primary supply-side shock.
Section 2. The energy and input squeeze.
Agriculture is incredibly sensitive to energy markets. It's an almost immediate reaction. When those geopolitical shocks hit, natural gas and crude oil prices spike. Now, because fertilizer production is highly energy-intensive, relying heavily on natural gas, those fertilizer costs just skyrocket right alongside the fuel costs. Instantly, margins are brutally squeezed right at the farm gate, which directly threatens future planting yields. It's a clear, undeniable cause and effect loop.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer scale of the jump. According to rapid survey data from the Amos Secretariat, the most immediate impact of the Hormuz crisis was a sharp, sudden increase in nitrogen fertilizer prices, ranging anywhere from 25 to 50%.
And the hits just keep coming. Fuel prices represent a second major transmission channel. Reported increases in diesel prices have ranged from 25 to 55%. And listen, this isn't just about the cost to put gas in a tractor. This is an active force that drives up transportation, storage, and distribution costs throughout the entire agricultural supply chain. It is brutally squeezing farm operations and logistics from every conceivable angle.
Section 3. The maritime shipping crisis.
With tensions soaring, shipping operators are understandably avoiding the Suez Canal and the Strait of Hormuz altogether. But rerouting massive vessels around these conflict zones extends a typical global freight voyage by 10 to 14 extra days. And those 14 extra days, they are incredibly expensive. Fuel expenses for these ships, specifically very low sulfur fuel oil out of Singapore, peaked at around $1,100 per ton at the height of the panic. According to the AMIS Market Monitor, global freight markets may actually be entering a new normal, one characterized by higher bunker fuel expenses, lower fleet efficiency because of the congestion, and much greater volatility in the landed prices of grains worldwide.
Section 4. The global production squeeze.
And this brilliantly illustrates the tangible results of all these combined pressures. When we compare the 2025-2026 season to the 2026-2027 forecasts, global wheat production drops from approximately 843.8 million tons down to roughly 820 million tons. That is a global decline of 3 to 4%. And USDA data pinpoints exactly where these drops are happening. We're seeing lower production estimates for major global players. The EU is down, Canada is down, and the US is down. This is the direct result of that exact convergence we talked about earlier. Extreme heat colliding with impossible farm-level decisions driven by soaring input costs.
Section 5. Food security under threat. Now, while global grain supplies might still appear broadly adequate from a high-level macro perspective, the localized impacts on vulnerable regions are absolutely devastating.
In Myanmar, fuel and fertilizer price spikes are expected to significantly lower yields for the monsoon season. In Nigeria, the global oil and fertilizer spikes are threatening to reverse recent, hard-won declines in their domestic food inflation. And when domestic food inflation stays high, often well above 5%, it just crushes purchasing power in low-income nations.
To ground this in reality, let's look at this quote from the International Food Policy Research Institute regarding the situation in Myanmar. They state, "Higher costs are likely to reach consumers, raising the price of rice, the country's main staple, and worsening food security at a time of already high humanitarian need." This is the stark, very real human impact at the end of the domino chain.
Section 6. Building agricultural resilience.
But it's not all doom and gloom. Governments and farmers are deploying actionable strategies to adapt to this volatility. Nationally, we're seeing huge efforts to rapidly diversify import sources to avoid those physical choke points. On the farm, there's a massive push for nutrient use efficiency, using things like soil testing and precise applications to make sure every single drop of that expensive fertilizer counts. Furthermore, governments are deploying concessional credit and liquidity support to protect farm financial resilience so producers don't literally go bankrupt before they can even harvest.
So the crucial point is this incredibly delicate balancing act farmers are playing right now. They're forced to balance short-term survival with long-term health. Because sure, reducing fertilizer applications definitely saves money today and keeps the farm afloat, but sustained reductions slowly strip the soil of its nutrients, which threatens soil fertility and compromises future yields for years to come. It's a high-stakes gamble with nutrient-intensive crops.
Which leaves us with this final, provocative thought to ponder. As we look at the converging weather anomalies, the intense geopolitical tensions, and the new normal in global freight, is this domino chain of high costs and disrupted logistics just a temporary crisis will eventually smooth out? Or are we witnessing a permanent, structural shift in how the world feeds itself? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really encourage you to keep diving into the data.